Hi everyone, welcome back to AniShifter. How are you guys? In this video, we'll talk about whole story in Attack on Titan Final Season Part 1. But before that, don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe, because AniShifter still have many more theory videos for you. With the fierce battle that we saw in Season 3 and the discovery of many secrets within the walls, the Eldians on Paradis finally managed to come and see the sea for the first time. This makes Season 4, which is the season finale, very much awaited by fans. Especially for those who have read the manga for a long time. The final season starts airing on December 7, 2020 and ends on March 29, 2021. AniShifter will explain the storyline of Attack on Titan Season Final Part 1 without giving any spoilers from the manga. So for those who don't like spoilers, you can enjoy and continue this video. Episode 1 begins with the title Other Side of the Sea, where a boy lies in the middle of a battlefield. Then brought by his brother to a safer place where other soldiers were gathered. The boy was named Falco, who was a Marley warrior with Eldian blood. He is one of the 4 warriors who will inherit Rainer's armored titan, and his brother Colt is the heir to Zeke's beast titan. Due to Falco's shock condition, his friends explain their current situation. The operation to take the founding titan in Paradis Island failed and even resulted colossal titan and female titans get captured. Knowing this, the Middle East Alliance, which was originally very afraid of Marley's strength, decided to start a war with Marley, who had lost a lot of their best weapons, which is Titan Shifter. And this battle in Fort Slava will determine Marley's victory or defeat against the world. At this time, Marley's military situation was bad because they were using less trained soldiers. The soldiers are Eldians who live in the exile zone in Marley and are forced to become war soldiers as a way of atoning for their sins for what their ancestors did in the past. At that time, one of the warriors named Gabi suggested trying to blow up the enemy carriage by herself. Gabi is a little girl who has a high nationality spirit towards Marley and has an ambition to inherit Rainer's armored titan. At first, General Magoth did not agree with Gabi's idea, but unexpectedly Gabi managed to blow up the train and opened up space for Marley's troops to attack. Jaw Titan, currently owned by Porco Galliard, that previously owned by Ymir, appeared and attacked the enemy forces, which was followed by Cart Titan. After the number of enemy troops had been reduced by almost half, an airship arrived and dropped lots of titans from the sky. Then followed by Rainer using his armored titan to attack the cannons that were trying to kill the titans. It turns out that the enemy already has a train equipped with an anti-titan cannon, which can even pierce Rainer's titan armor. However, with his experience defeating the cannons that line the walls on Paradis Island, Rainer managed to take control of the war even though he was badly injured and had to be assisted by Jaw Titan. After Rainer gave a signal, Zeke also got off the airship and turned into a beast titan and threw cannons at the enemy's warship. The destruction of the ships signaled victory for Marley's side, but with hundreds of fighters who died and the Titan shifters who were seriously injured, it made everyone realize that the Titan era was coming to an end. Then the story continues in Episode 2 entitled Midnight Train. Marley's high-ranking military gathered for discussion and said that their victory this time could not bring joy. At that time, a black-haired woman who turned out to be Willie Tiber's younger sister turned into the Warhammer Titan and attacked Eren. At first, Eren was able to defeat the Titan Warhammer easily. But it turns out that the Warhammer was strong, it can make any weapon with its Titan power. Peak and Galliard turn into Titan and help the Warhammer Titan to defeat Eren and the Survey Corps troops. At that time, Mikasa, who arrived at Eren's side, asked him to come home with her. The battle between Marley's military and the Survey Corps begins in Episode 7 entitled Attack. With the appearance of the Cart Titan, which carries anti-Titan cannons and Jaw Titan that move very fast, it makes Eren cornered. The Warhammer Titan still doesn't kill even though its nape has been crushed several times. At that time Eren remembered that when the Warhammer Titan appeared, it did not start from the nape but from the legs. Due to this, Eren suspected that the Warhammer Titan's real body was not on the nape of its neck, and his guess was correct. There was a rope tied to the Titan Warhammer's leg. Eren then pulled it and immediately the Warhammer collapsed and there was a figure in the crystal like Ani. Not long after, the colossal Titan suddenly appeared in the port area and destroyed the ship that was going to attack them and the buildings that were nearby. Also Levi, who managed to defeat the Beast Titan using a sword and bomb in his hand. With this, the Survey Corps managed to get the Warhammer Titan and destroy 3/4 Liberio area. With this victory, Survey Corps troops decided to retreat using the airship. In Episode 8, entitled Killer Bullet, the troops enter the airship one by one. Armin, who saw Mikasa and Eren's arrival, stretched out his hand. However, when Eren entered the airship, he was immediately kicked by Captain Levi, who looked angry with him. It turned out that Captain Levi's anger was not without reason. In fact, the Survey Corps don't want to attack Liberio. But Eren decided to act alone and caused all this to happen. Meanwhile, Farak and the other Survey Corps members rejoice over their first victory against a nation outside the island. Farak also said that the sacrifices of his comrades in this first battle will never be forgotten. Hearing Farak's words, Jayan felt that his feelings were mixed. He didn't want to do another fight and kill people. Under the airship, no one knew that Gabi and Falco had actually managed to climb the iShip using Lobov's vertical maneuver gear to sneak in. Then Connie hugged Sasha and Jayan and said that they were both very important to Connie. However, it wasn't long before Gabi suddenly entered the airship, took out a rifle and shot Sasha. Made her fall covered in blood and finally passed away. Everyone cried hearing the news that Sasha had died, but not Eren. He laughed when he got the news that Sasha had died. One thing that made everyone who witnessed him shudder at Eren's laughter. After that, the story continues in Episode 9 entitled Volunteer Soldiers. Armin visits the basement where Ani's body trapped in a crystal is kept. He then explained what really happened 3 years ago. The Survey Corps, knowing that Marleyan was going to attack using warships, managed to cancel their attack and take Marley people as hostages with the help of Eren and Armin's Titan. When they were about to attack the next ship, the surprising thing happened. It turned out that some of the soldiers on the ship were anti-Marley fighters. Because of this, Hanji and Levi were able to discuss with the leaders of anti-Marley fighters. The two top brass is Yelena and Onyankopan. They were both fighters who were forced to serve Marley, because their hometown was colonized by Marley, and because of that anti-Marley fighters were formed to liberate their country that was colonized by Marley. They both explained that at that time Marley was involved in a war so he was unable to attack Paradis, also that the presence of Titans outside the wall made it difficult for troops to attack the wall even at full strength. The anti-Marley warriors proposed to form an ally with Paradis. The establishment of the first port on Paradis and first official bilateral of Parasis and Hizuru represented by Kiyomi Azumabito, are shown in Episode 10 entitled A Sound Argument. The visit begins with the discovery of the identity of the Ackerman clan, which turns out to be a descendant of the long-lost leader of the Hizuru. Then, Kiyomi explained the purpose of her visit, which would convey ideas from Zeke, who wanted to save Paradis and also the Eldians. There are 3 choices offered by Zeke. The first is rumbling and telling the world about the Titan powers that Paradis Island possesses. The second option is to work with Hizuru to increase military power on Paradis Island, provided that the founding Titan must be passed down continuously to the royal family. while the third option is to make the queen a beast titan in order to use her original power and have to give birth to as many children as her successor later within 13 years of her life. Historia then decided to choose the third option and inherit the beast titan, but what happened afterward made everyone shocked. Historia is pregnant, makes her unable to turn into a titan until she gives birth. Back to the present time where Gabi and Falco, who were locked up in prison, decided to escape in episode 11 entitled Imposters. Gabi suddenly get a seizure in prison, causing Falco to panic and call the prison guards. Immediately the guard opened the door and checked on Gabi. But what the guard got was a hard blow from the rock that was held by Gabi. Not only once or twice, but he was hit by a Gabi many times until blood poured out of his head and eventually died. Gabi didn't stop hitting him until Falco asked him to stop. Falco said that the guard was worried about her and that she shouldn't be that cruel. However, Gabi insisted that all humans on Paradis are devils who need not be pitied. The two then had a big fight on the riverbank. Suddenly a blonde-haired girl approached them and asked what they were doing on the riverbank like that. Gabi prepares to take a nearby stone to aim at the girl, but Falco forbids her and says that they both ran away from the house. Hearing this, the girl invited Gabi and Falco to her house, this kind girl named Kaya. Kaya lives on a stable owned by the Browse family. Their family accepts orphan children to live with them. Then Falco and Gabi decided to stay there for a while. One afternoon when they were resting, they were very surprised to find that Kaya already knew that they were both from Marley but still decided to help them both. Gabi, who already hated Paradis, was immediately furious when she heard Kaya's words. But instead of getting angry, Kaya invited the two of them to go to the village where she used to live. She then said that her mother had paralyzed legs, and never did anything bad to people, but she was still eaten by the Titan. Hearing this, Falco apologized to Kaya. But Kaya just shook her head and said that she only wanted to do good thing as was done by a girl who helped him at that time. The girl is the son of the owner of the stable and is currently considered by Kaya to be her own sister. Meanwhile, conditions at the military center became quite chaotic after Farak and 3 recruits leaked about Eren Yeager's detention to the public. In front of Hanji and the other military forces, Farak insisted that Eren was a figure capable of saving Eldia and did not deserve to be in prison. Then in episode 12, entitled Guides, Armin appears to revisit Ani in the basement. When he wanted to try to touch the crystal covering Ani's body, Hichi scolded him and mocked him for looking very fond of Ani. Then when the two of them then returned to headquarters, dozens of residents were seen staging a demonstration demanding that Eren be released. When Armin was about to help Hichi to calm down the situation, Mikasa came to call Armin and said that they had to immediately face Commander Darius Zackley. They were very shocked when Commander Zackley secretly told them that the two of them would not be allowed to meet with Eren. Due to the unpredictable situation, the military officials decided Eren was not allowed to meet other people, especially Mikasa and Armin. Hearing this certainly made Mikasa and Armin angry, but it turned out that Zackley's decision was unanimous, leaving the two of them speechless. On the way back, the two of them bumped into several military officers. Mikasa decides to overhear their conversation, but is prevented by Armin. And when the two of them were arguing, suddenly there was a big explosion from inside Commander Zackley's room which killed everyone in it instantly. Not long after Commander Zackley's death was spread, the bad news emerged that Eren had escaped from prison along with other military prisoners. The story continued in episode 13 entitled Children of the Forest. Zeke tells how he and Marley turned the villagers in Ragako into titans. They use a gas-shaped weapon filled with Zeke's spinal fluid, then he will scream to turn people there into titans because Zeke has the blood of King Fritz so he can do it. Meanwhile, Sasha's family comes to the restaurant where Niccolo works. Kaya said that Niccolo was a man from Marley, so Gabi and Falco could meet him and they could ask for help to return to Marley. Hearing this, Falco and Gabi agreed to Kaya's plan to meet Niccolo. While they were eating the food, Falco said that he had a stomachache and asked Gabi to accompany him to the toilet. But they both went to the warehouse where Niccolo was. They both said that they were warriors from Marley, which made Niccolo surprised to hear that. Then Gabi excitedly said that she had successfully boarded the Survey Corps airship with her own strength, without noticing the look on Nicolo's face which had begun to change. Falco, who began to notice the strange appearance of Nicolo's face, told Gabi to stop talking, but Gabi ignored him and was even more excited to tell the story, and then proudly said that she managed to kill a female soldier in the airship without knowing that Nicolo was Sasha's lover. Nicolo, who was very angry to hear this, took a bottle of wine near him and aimed it at Gabi, but Falco protected him and his head was hit hard by the wine bottle until it broke. Nicolo then hit Gabi with all his strength and then dragged Falco and Gabi to the room where Sasha's family was eating. Seeing this, everyone was very surprised, especially when they found out that Gabi was the one who killed Sasha. But Sasha's father decided to let Gabi go, and tell Nicolo that hatred would do nothing. Hearing that, Gabi felt so touched and cries, "The people whom she thought were descended from evil demons turned out to be a really nice human being." When Gabi wanted to apologize to Sasha's father and mother, Kaya suddenly ran aiming a knife at her. Fortunately, Mikasa quickly stopped Kaya, and this made Kaya hysterical because she felt very betrayed by Gabi, whom she had considered a friend. She did not think that the person who killed the sister she admired so much was Gabi. The atmosphere became very sad with Kaya's cry, which was followed by her entire family and Nicolo, who felt his heart was very broken. Then Nicolo remembered that the wine bottle he accidentally hit Falco's head was a wine that came from Marley. The wine probably contained Zeke's spinal fluid, so Nicolo asked Hanji to clean Falco. Hearing this, Hanji was very surprised because she did not think that Yelena had planned everything for a long time. In the midst of panic over the wine, suddenly a group of Jäger led by Farak came to arrest Hanji. Not only Farak and Jägerist who came to the restaurant, Eren also arrived at the room where Mikasa and Armin secured Gabi in episode 14 entitled Savagery. Gabi, who had always wanted to kill Eren with her own hands, could only be silent and trembled to see Eren, who was finally in front of her. Meanwhile, Armin and Mikasa are very surprised by Eren's unexpected arrival, but Eren acted as if nothing had happened and said that he wanted to talk to his two friends. But instead of a sweet reunion that awaited the three of them, Eren instead showered Armin and Mikasa with cruel words. At its peak, Eren says that he hates Mikasa a lot, making Armin launch a hard punch into Eren's face. Eren then ordered the Jägerist to detain Mikasa and Armin along with the other Survey Corps members. After the Jägerist succeeded in taking Hanji as a prisoner, Farak took her to a military training center to recruit more Jägerist members. It turned out that a lot more cadets wanted to devote themselves to the Jägerist. But it turns out that Farak is not satisfied if there are still cadets left, leading him to announce that anyone who doesn't want to join the Jägerist will be arrested. In order to protect his students, instructor Shadis, who was teaching at that time, was forced to sacrifice himself as bait so that his students would not be taken prisoner. While in the giant forest where Zeke is being held, a soldier announces that the military will hand over Eren's Titan to someone else. But Levi disagreed and thought that they should hand over the Titan that Zeke had. Levi and the 30 troops who were there believed that they could stop Zeke even if he turned into a Titan. Zeke, who heard this, then ran away from where he was sitting, making Levi become suspicious. Zeke then shouted and turned all the soldiers into Titans. It turned out that the soldiers also drank the Marleyan wine. Levi was immediately surrounded by 30 Titans who were his soldiers, while Zeke laughed and ran with 3 other Titans. Zeke firmly believes that Levi will not kill his comrades even though they have turned into Titan. But Zeke's guess was wrong, with Levi's high speed chasing him, making him have to turn into a Beast Titan. But even though he had changed his form into a Beast Titan, Zeke was unable to defeat Levi. In his subconscious mind, Zeke remembers his past, which is described in episode 15 entitled Soul Salvation. Explained that Liberio, where Zeke lived, was a zone of exile for the Eldians who were in Marley. They are not allowed to leave Liberio without special permission, and even if they have permission to leave, people will look at them cynically because they are descendants of a demon. Their identity is also marked by the wearing of a special armband that cannot be removed for the rest of their life. If in Season 3 Zeke's past is explained through Grisha's POV, in this episode it will be explained in Zeke's POV. Where Zeke was born as the determinant of the future of the Eldia nation, Zeke was taught by his parents to save Eldia from the bad fate they had been experiencing. But on the other hand, his grandparents stick to Marley's rules. Zeke, who was confused by the two idealists taught to him, was told by his parents to enlist in the Marley military force, so he could become a warrior who could inherit one of the Titan powers. At first, Zeke obeyed his parents and was sure that this would make his parents proud of him. As it turned out, the hard military training made Zeke unable to follow orders properly and became the most lagging student. He thought, if he did his best then his parents would be very proud of him. But Zeke's guess was wrong. His parents never gave him the love he needed, there were no family moments together, his parents just told him to study and practice. Zeke's feelings became even more devastated when he found his parents looking at him in disgust and then left when they saw Zeke, who was practicing and fell far behind. He is increasingly convinced that his parents think that Zeke is nothing more than a tool for them to carry out Eldia's restoration. When he walked home feeling shattered, at that time, suddenly a man wearing glasses called him and asked him to accompany him to play catchball. The man is Tom Kusava, who was a warrior that inherited Beast Titan. Zeke felt that playing fetch with Mr. Kusava was the moment he had dreamed of and wanted to do with his parents, especially his father. Since then, he has been playing and chatting with Mr. Kusava. The moments with Mr. Kusava are something he always looks forward every day. Until one day, he overhears his parents talk about Eldia's restoration and asks his parents to stop because it will endanger them all. Zeke doesn't want his parents and grandparents to be sent to the Devil's Island as punishment for disobeying Marley's rules. Especially when Marley's military began to suspect Eldia's restoration movement. But his parents were actually very angry with him and said that Zeke had to be the savior of the Eldia. Hearing this, Zeke gave up and resigned if in the end they would all be sent to the Paradis. Mr. Kusava, who heard it, became very sad and said that Zeke should report his parents to Marley's military, because with that he would be able to save himself and his grandparents and would gain respect in Marley's eyes. Zeke's parents never loved and gave him affection, they only treated him as a tool. This made Zeke solidify his intentions and then report his parents to Marley's military forces. Several years later, Zeke was inaugurated as a potential heir to the Beast Titan, replacing Mr. Kusava later. Some time before Mr. Kusava runs out of time as a Beast Titan holder, he tells the facts about the Titan he discovered, while being a scientist who studies Titan, that even Marley's party doesn't know. The Titan shifter holder who has the descendants of King Fritz is able to control the pure Titan, and if the controller can cooperate with the founding Titan, then the controller will get the full power of the founding Titan due to King Fritz's blood flowing on him. Then they both made a euthanasia plan that would eliminate the Eldia nation within 100 years without pain, by making the Eldians unable to reproduce. After they agreed on this, the Beast Titan's inheritance ceremony was held. Taking Mr. Saviour's glasses that he had been wearing, Zeke swore to the figure he thought was a father that he would do his best to carry out his plan. When he met Reiner and Berthold on Paradis Island, Zeke realized that Grisha was still alive and even made a new family there. Then Zeke swore that he would save Aaron, who was his half-brother. He then met Aaron while he was undercover at Marley, who later agreed to follow Zeke's plan. At that time, Zeke's consciousness began to return and he realized that maybe his struggle should stop here. By shouting the name Mr. Kusava, Zeke detonated himself along with Levi using a thunder spear that stuck to his body. The sound of an enormous thunder spear exploding made the Jaegerist and Hanji troops hear it in episode 16 entitled Above and Below. As a result of the explosion, Zeke's body split into two parts and knocked him unconscious. At that time, suddenly a Titan came to him and then split his stomach in half and put Zeke in it. Meanwhile, Yelena and Jaegerist, who were already in control of Paradis, jailed the military. They also gave armbands in 3 colors like Marley did to the Eldians. White represents the Jaegerist members, red represents those who are forced to enter the Jaegerist due to the possibility of drinking wine contaminated with Zeke's spinal fluid, and black, which represents people who don't know anything and drink quite a lot of that wine. Gabi, who was detained separately from the others, was shaking with fear again when Eren came to visit her with 2 of the Jägerist members. But suddenly one guard fell down with a knife to his neck. Gabi is surprised to find out that one of the Jägerist members is Peak in disguise. Peak then pointed the gun at Eren and told Gabi to take the rifle on the floor to aim at Eren as well. The thing that Gabi did not expect happened. Peak turned out to be a traitor and would help Eren to tell where Marley's people were hiding. This made Gabi's mind very confused, and the 2 of them were paraded onto the roof because Peak said she would show the spies from there. When they got up, Peak bravely said that the real enemy was Eren, and suddenly Galliard's Jaw Titan appeared and bit Eren. These were all tactics Marley had planned to attack Paradis. In Shigashina's sky, an airship flashed past preparing to attack. Seeing this, Eren immediately transformed himself into a Titan and shouted that he was ready to fight Reiner, who was an armored Titan. Season Finals Part 1 ends on a cliffhanger like this. Season Finale Part 2 is officially announced to be broadcast in winter 2022. The official trailer has been released and shows a little girl with blonde hair that we have never seen before. While the Attack on Titan manga ends in chapter 139 on April 9, 2021. Thank you for watching this video, and we will back again with more interesting videos for you. See you next time and goodbye.